your ball in the trees and then you live out the puck. But if you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us, 'cause now you're listening to The Rough Cut.
Hello, and welcome down to another episode of the Rough Cut Golf Podcast, where you join us in the charming surroundings of the Dundonald Golf Course Lodges, where we are cloistered just hours away, just mere moments, just a flickering of a butterfly's wing in the cosmic scale from Open qualifying. The final 36 holes which stand in between me and a berth at Royal Portrush. And by berth, I mean a place on the ship, not that I'm going to be ejected from a uterus anytime in this episode. So if you are unsure about what has happened, we made it through regional qualifying after many, many years of trying. We got over the line, and we are here. We are finally arrived at final qualifying. We've got Mick, we've got Kieran, and we've got Jacob, we've got David and Sam outside as well. We've got the full crew up, and at some point, maybe during this episode, Carly might be wandering through the door as well. So
okay, cool.
Literally everyone. And a bit of a split episode as well. So we're going to just talk through final qualifying, a little bit what we're up to, and then we're going to stop. Me, Kieran, and Mick are going away because we're flying to Germany the morning that this comes out.
Correct.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And then Jacob, David, and Sam are going to take over and fill you in on how we actually got on during Open qualifying.
So you're going to be the spine of this episode, Jacob, because you're going to be the only through line. between the two stories.
Yeah, you're the connecting road here.
Yeah, okay.
You're the center of the roundabout.
Yeah.
As everyone goes off different exits,
I stay there.
You're there. You're the really weird statue in the middle of the roundabout.
Yeah. The one that's sponsored by a company that you've never heard of.
Yeah. It was a thing like roundabouts either have, if you're not from the UK and you live in America, although there are more roundabouts out there now. A roundabout is you know what a roundabout
is. An intersection.
But it's just a circular thing, and in the middle, when they designed this function, they didn't quite figure out what should go there. So you get a mixture of different things.
What's your favourite roundabout statue or setting?
I'm not going to answer that question because that's not what this podcast is about, mate.
Okay.
Why are you trying to take us off on a tangent?
You started the tangent.
Jacob's the roundabout, not me.
Yeah.
You can go off whenever you want. I'm still here. So do I need to bring us back then? Is that kind of what
I think that's probably you tame us.
Okay. So we need to have a little chat about, Pete, what you've been doing the last couple of days, because we've not seen you.
No.
We've not heard from you.
No.
Kind of the same way that we didn't hear or see from you before regional qualifying, which I think is good. We're keeping things the same. You came up here on Saturday. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I had no commitments. Carly wasn't here. So I thought, you know what? I am just going to go. I'm going to leave everything behind. I'm going to come to one of my favourite places in the world, West Coast of Scotland. I'm just going to spend a few days grinding, practicing, maybe just have a little bit of a drive around and see some sights and get really relaxed. That didn't happen.
I was just about to say, I don't think you did any of those things.
No, I've literally just been on the course or on the putting green. That is all I've done.
So tall, bro.
Really?
Yeah, that is all I've done. Or been to the gym.
Even more tall, bro.
That's so tall, bro.
Yeah. I want to fit in.
When we rolled up a couple of hours ago, you were on the putting green and you had putting aids out. Mm-hmm. Did I see a chalk pen? There was a chalk pen?
Yeah, chalk line, yeah.
There may have been a digital level.
Mm-hmm.
Some gates.
Some gates.
I've got all the help I need. I'm one stop short just getting someone to put for me. So. And the practice itself has been going okay. It's a tricky one because final qualifying, if you're unaware, to get through regional is great and it's something that I've struggled to do. When you get to final qualifying, it's 36 holes in one day. There's 72 players in this field at Dundonald, and 5 people get through to the Open. 5 people get through from each venue. There's 4 venues across the country. The strength of the field at final qualifying is like a limited tour event. So Challenge Tour, as far as Europe's concerned, maybe Corn Ferry Tour, that kind of level of player with a few very good players from Live sprinkled in who aren't already kind of exempt through different key criteria. So it's
We had some dropouts though, huh?
Yeah, so we've got...
So the field is even weaker than we imagined to begin with.
So, weak is a relative term. Rafa Cabrera has dropped out from here, and Noren has dropped out, which is devastating. But you've still got... Well, we'll put it this way. I'm playing with 2 European Tour pros, full-time European Tour pros tomorrow.
One of whom has won 4 times this year?
Not this year. No,
No, 4 times in total.
Yeah.
And then I think the others won 2. So, I mean, Jack Senior finished 4th on the KLM Open about a couple of weeks ago. So.
Jack Senior, who one of us will probably be working for tomorrow.
So we've got a deep field.
Yeah.
Stacked, some would say.
But when we were discussing this on the way up, we would put your best game on the same level as some of those guys on occasion, right? So there is still hope that if you play really, really well, you can compete. Like we've seen you beat tour pros. We've seen you beat guys from the PGA Tour on the channel. Like you can do it. So it just comes down to having 2 really good rounds.
Yeah. The best analogy probably is this is a cup final. Like there's no real sense that I should be able to beat out a field of these guys. You know, there is, we're not going to kind of mess around and pretend and like add in a lower faux confidence. We have a field here of players, and there's dozens of players who are better than me across the course of a year. But we have one day, and if I just manage to catch fire for one day, then yeah, you never know. I could finish top 30. I don't know. It's a tricky one because obviously we've played here before. I've been up here a lot of times. Course is playing pretty long actually. It's not quite as firm and as bouncy as maybe some other links courses that we played this year. So I don't know. Like you never know. Like you just don't know what's going to happen. I'll need to play my very, very, very best, and then hope some of the real top guys don't perform as well.
Does it feel weird coming back here, like for open qualifying, for like final open qualifying?
When was the last time you were here?
That's what I mean. It was probably fairway down,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I must admit it doesn't feel weird. No, I was here earlier this year with Rick and Fryer and Carter.
Oh yeah, of course.
yes.
Yeah,
winning your first event at this.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel weird. In all fairness, I actually picked this as my first choice because at West Lancs I've never particularly played that well. I love the course, but for whatever reason in the past it's not really suited me.
It's very hard, you say. Also,
it's really hard, and you need to be able to hit a draw. Now I can do that this year, but it's the same here. Like you've got to be able to shape it both ways off the tee. So actually coming back here has been quite nice. It feels quite comfortable. I don't feel anywhere near as nervous right now as I did before
Regional,
yeah.
why do you think that is?
Probably because I'm not played in final qualifying before.
Yeah.
So it's a new experience. I don't really have anything to compare it to. Like before Coldy, I was really nervous because of what happened at Hesketh last year.
I guess there's no scar tissue left, is there, for this? 'Cause
Yeah,
there's nothing to be made. You're making it this year, so
I'm ready for my fresh wounds.
yeah, there you go.
So next year,
We have the bandages. it's
I'm
fine.
ready to be sliced and diced all over again. Yeah.
good lord.
I do think you playing at a course that you know pretty well must help a little bit.
I mean, there's very few venues where I probably know where to miss more, if that makes sense.
Here.
Yeah, so I know pretty much going into tomorrow, I know all my lines really off the tees. I know what clubs I'm going to be hitting. Obviously, second shot's kind of up for debate, but depending on the pins, which we need to check on tonight, is going to again factor into like what that strategy is. But they're the same pins for both rounds.
That's
Right.
what I was just going to ask.
Oh,
that,
right,
actually,
yeah. So they're not going to go out and whip new holes in.
Because they haven't really got time, have they?
No time,
There's no time.
So it's quite a quick turnaround. I think if it's a 4-hour round,
That's very optimistic.
yeah, I should have about 40 minutes in between, something like
Wow.
that. So
Oh.
it's not a lot.
And what's your plan for in between the 2 rounds? Because obviously during the round, you'll just be concentrating on playing, and then you'll have this like very short period before you have to go back out.
Yeah.
What are you going to go and do?
Try and grab some food, maybe go to the gym.
Just keep limber.
Not change clothes and shower and stuff,
Nah,
or you're just going to stick it out?
Dirty, mate.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, 36 holes in a day, and it's going to be quite warm. It's going to be a long day. I can't remember the last time I actually played 36 holes.
Are you allowed a buggy?
No, I've got Stuart, so Stuart's going to be.
He's a good
dragging
caddy.
me around.
Yeah, 36 holes of tournament golf as well. Because we've done lots of holes in days. We did 100 holes in a day around this area. We did Norway for birding every hole.
Yeah, that was 100 and... I didn't remember the number. 197
That's quite a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of holes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we had 24 hours, though.
So in
Yeah.
terms of like endurance golf, you've done something like it, but just this is obviously a different type of golf.
It's test mental more
Exactly,
than, it's,
yeah.
If you could birdie every hole tomorrow that would be really good.
That'll make
That'd
it
be nice,
really
yeah.
easy.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I've been chatting to quite a few of the guys here, and everyone said the same thing. Where you'll come off the course, and even if you've had a good round, you'll come off the course after the first 18 and feel like disappointed. You'll feel like you've not done enough. But generally speaking, probably 6 under gets you through. So a couple of 69s. It all depends on conditions, but I think in my mind, what I'm imagining is, let's say a Veerman or a Hidalgo or a Callum Tarrant or like Jack Senior, Mark Warren, guys I'm playing with. In my head, I'm like, these are tour pros. They're going to go out and they're going to shoot a 63.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're going to and there's going to be loads of them. There's going to be like 15 under par for 2 rounds.
No, I don't.
And
I don't
it
see
just
that.
won't happen.
No.
It won't happen. So.
So your expectation is that it's going to be, you're like chasing something that you just don't have the power to reach.
Yeah.
But really, because of the conditions and because of the course, it's going to be a little tougher than you think.
Exactly, yeah.
They're playing the same small white ball that you're playing,
No, they're not. Everyone has their own. Mate.
I've
Been through this. It's not all a scramble.
God, it's so difficult.
I think I don't know. And all you need to do, and this sounds like the most stupid thing ever, but around this course, especially if you hit fairways, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
If you miss fairways, you're going fairway bunkers. You just got to try and keep as clean a scorecard as possible. No doubles, no triples, none of that.
Yep.
Just got to keep it clean. Bogey every now and again, fine, but just keep the big numbers off.
It was like what we were saying during regional, that because you were playing so smart and so well, when you made a bogey, we weren't worried because we were like, oh, cool, we can get that back later. Like it's not. But if you had made a double or a triple, you'd be like, oh, now it's a real uphill battle, I think.
Yeah, to be honest, I think mentally I'm at a decent point where even if I do have like a big number, I don't think it's going to bother me too much.
God, that's so good.
Just mostly because it's a. I mean, it depends how big the number is. If I have a 28,
7.
that's gonna be tough to come back from.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't really know what to expect, but I feel all right.
And you have done some. The last time you played something like this would be the PGA Pro Champs, which came out like a back-to-back rounds job, and you did some like pretty extensive planning. Have you done the same kind of level of planning? Almost everything you're going to hit.
Yeah. I think I know. Well, yeah, I know pretty much every single club that I'm going to hit. If the wind stays like it's forecast to, which has been good. Today the wind was in a complete opposite direction, so I only did 9 holes today. But the last 2 days I've done 18. Well, 27 first day, 18 yesterday, and then 9 today. Like I meant to do that, which I did.
So just counting down. It's like the taper before the marathon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know it all. I mean, we'll see what it's like condition wise, but it's driver off first, driver off second, driver off third, 5-iron, driver, 9-iron, mini, wedge, driver, 4-iron or a 5-iron depending on the wind, driver, mini, driver.
Yeah.
I was with you up until like 12 and then I got lost. Like after the wedge on 11.
Yeah. Because it's quite nice actually. One of the big advantages here playing off the back tees is when the back tees were set out, they were set out for a tournament course. Yeah. So a lot of the danger and a lot of the bunkers, it's like 290, 280.
So you're not...
It's in range with a driver.
Yeah.
But like if I cut like on 6, for example, there's 7, sorry. Got that wrong. 7, par 4.
Par 4 goes
Par 4
round
go
dog
round.
leg to the
Oh
left.
yes,
Little dog leg right.
Just swoops.
Yeah, there's a little dog leg round to the left. There's a bunker out there you've got to carry off the back tees. It's 260. And then the bunker down to the right hand side is 290 to reach. But the wind should be off the right, off the tee shot. So if I hit a fade at that bunker, even if I hit it well, it shouldn't reach
There you
with
go.
the Mini. So
Listen, it sounds like it's the best mentally we've ever seen you, and it sounds like you've done the right prep for it. So now it's the same thing that we said to you before regional, and now it's just about going out and enjoying it as much as you can, and trying to do the things that you've just said, like hit that fade into it if you need to, adjust as things arise, and go out and try and enjoy it.
I think the first 9 holes tomorrow is going to be big.
Yeah.
Like if I can just keep, because I'm going to be nervous. I just need to keep it under control. Hold a few good putts and I'll be off and away. And then I must admit that when I got here, I was a bit worried. My back was killing me when I got here. So I managed to loosen it up over the last few days, which is good.
I mean, it's helpful to be able to move.
Yeah.
We were thinking like the first 6 holes is going to be like, once you're through 6, level is great. We would love to, we'll take that. That'll be wonderful. And then you'll be into the round. You won't have to worry about it.
I want to be kind of 2 under through the first 6, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But
Yeah.
it's 2 par 5s.
I'd like to be 6
2
under
par
through the
5.
first 6s, to be honest, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 3 and 6, isn't it? It's the
3
2
and
par
6.
5s.
Yeah.
3
When-
and 5.
But you're playing them.
3 and 5, isn't it? He's got par 3.
3
3 and
and
5.
3 and 5.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're playing them backwards. You're starting on 10.
Starting on 10, yeah.
Yeah. How is that? Does that affect your game plan at all? Because you've been warmed up by the time you get to the front, or what's your thinking? Because 10's a hard starting hole.
They've moved the tee forward. It's not off the back.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So it's 430 off the tees.
Always a weird line off that one for me.
Yeah.
You can hit it a lot more left than you realise.
Just Mini driver left centre with a
yeah.
fade.
I mean, yeah, you'll be
Into the wind.
Yeah,
As long
you
as
don't want to hit it left.
You shouldn't end
but-
up on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I know pretty much every single shot.
But then I mean, maybe I'm thinking of the course dip, but like 10 is a good par. 11, you can stiff a wedge, but it's a
So-
hard shot.
So in my mind, 10, 11, 12 are birdie holes. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then-
Because 430
But then 14 as well is a par 5.
yeah, par 5. Oh, the rough on the left
Juicy.
is thick.
Yeah. When you
Like-
kind of want to go left to be able to see the green.
Yeah, so that's maybe the one tee shot where during practice
14
I
is this?
wasn't 100% comfortable.
Okay.
That's 14.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty much a straightaway par 5, but it's like a little funnel, almost like a little valley off the tee. But
Yeah.
the rough to the left hand side is really thick on the slopes.
And do we always end up on that like mound on the right hand side on 14? Am I thinking of the right one?
I mean,
Or is
maybe.
it got trees down the right?
No, 14,
true.
like, because this is a good, like, 14 is the one you have to think of, is that, like, just don't hit it really high and far into the back, because there's loads of trees. There's loads of trees. So if you, like, say you, like, put a drone in the air and you, like, fly it there,
Yeah.
you've got to be really careful because there's, like, trees around the back.
You have to be really careful.
I read what he was doing about 50 minutes ago.
I was like, what are you trying to do? Is he going to sting into this? What are you doing?
It would take a real fool not to notice that.
Kieran crashed a drone.
I then got it.
You did climb up a tree too.
They got it. They got it.
It's not even the most recent time you've crashed a drone.
15, 16 are the tough ones.
Yeah.
On that night.
Yeah.
So 16 left is that all bad as well? Because obviously that backs onto 14.
Yeah, but you got a little bit more room there than. It's a bit of a weird hole. Like to the left of that bunker, you do have a bit more room. And again, it all depends on the wind. Because if the wind's off the right as it should be, it's just a hard fade at the middle bunker. So
How are the par threes looking? Have they got anything ridiculously long, ridiculously short? Just feeling pretty good, or what's it like?
yeah, no, the 14th, 15th is the hard par 3. The Fourth is
yeah.
tough, but it's
I've always found that hole
downwind. I
really.
hate
Oh,
that.
it's downwind.
Slightly,
that
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, am I hitting 6-iron into this par 3? I don't like
when
that
you're
one
hitting
bit.
into wind in that
It's
hole.
like off the tee, no matter really where the pin is on that hole, off the tee it's 212 to the front. So it's just like a hard 5-iron fade, just like holding into the wind a touch.
Yeah, but the rest of them feeling all right. 11 good.
Yeah.
What else have you got?
All par 5s reachable in 2? Wind dependent?
The 18th pushing it.
Okay.
18th pushing it because off the back
Driver,
tees it's
driver?
like 580. So it was 518 to win.
Yeah,
this event.
depending on the wind, yeah.
So all of this, like you seem very, you literally are rattling it off like it's in your brain imprinted. If it is the wrong wind, have you also got the game plan for that going as well? Like,
Yeah, I mean, if the wind's like it is today, it's a little bit different. But every forecast I've seen so far has been
right.
It's been very similar.
Right, okay,
If
right,
it switches around in the morning, it will be annoying.
Yeah, got you. I just yeah. Okay, got you.
So it's like at regional.
Yeah.
Peter had planned the entire round. We
No,
got to
the wind.
regional.
Completely
The wind was
different wind.
completely different.
Maybe
Right.
I need it to be different. Maybe I need to wake up in the morning and need a hurricane out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you have to actually think your way around instead
Yeah.
of just hitting what you've been told to
Yeah.
hit.
The less thinking I do out there, the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be on autopilot.
Okay. You went and got snacks?
I did.
You healed up.
I've been eating nothing but so this is coming out.
It's Wednesday.
Oh yeah, we'll pass over it just in case.
Pete's concerned about his toilet.
Yeah, it's been
Situation.
I've been dieting this week as well. Yeah, it's been good.
You had a chicken burger the other day.
I did
What are you having for dinner tonight?
chicken burger.
This is a man who's so
Is that the
prepared.
Tikka one?
Sorry,
Is that the Tikka one?
the chicken Cajun stack?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's just more. It's nice and simple. Won't kick my acid off. I'm good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't want to be burping and farting all the way around.
I was speaking to Hannah from St Andre about when them three played against you on that. Is it a Golf Breaks video? Mm-hmm. And I was saying the way to set Pete off and to like get in his head a little bit is to like feed him something like quite spicy before the round, so his acid kicks in.
Spicy, I'm fine with.
I was like, yeah, a nice hearty burrito with some.
Spicy, I'm absolutely fine. Spice does not kick off my acid.
Yeah.
Butter kicks off my acid.
Butter kicks
Yeah.
off the acid.
Pastry,
Good
basically
Lord.
greasy stuff kicks off my
Yeah.
acid. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, don't have the fish and chips.
and beer.
and well, yeah,
No,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but it's amazing. 12 pints actually kicks off as well.
That's amazing.
It really does it. Wow.
That's amazing.
Can't believe it. Yeah. So anyway, right. Well, I think what we'll do, because that's like half an hour.
It's 22 and a half. It's 23 minutes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. That's not too bad.
Well, then what we'll do is, by the time we come back, Jacob comes back with David and Sam. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to react to what you just watched Pete do
Yeah.
in the 2 rounds. Because the next time this conversation kicks back in after the break will be post final qualifying.
Yeah. I'll come back 12 deep from the Canny Crow.
It'll either be no, it's going to be great.
I mean, it might be. Put it this way: if the first thing that you see when this cuts back on is us all sat here,
Something good's happened.
then you'll know something
Yeah.
really good is happening. Because the chances of catching that flight at like 7 a.m. from Manchester is going to be tricky.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that might have to be a very quick call to Ben just to see.
Yeah, about that. Can we come on Thursday?
Yeah, just like, you know, Pete is stark bollock naked, running down the ninth right now.
For God's sake.
Pete is still in the 18th bunker. We haven't got him out.
Yeah.
Finch bunker.
He will not leave. Right. Okay. So, well, we'll see you afterwards. Fingers crossed. Let's see how we get on.
If we can get a tiny bit of reaction from you after the round to slot in on top, then we'll also have that. So there'll be you three, and there'll be a little bit of Pete just
Maybe
celebrating and saying thank you.
I might refuse media interviews. So
Yeah, do a Rory.
we'll see.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Play well.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. Get a good night's sleep. And we will see you after this short break. A break?
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm sticking my thumbs up for people listening to the audio.
Yeah, well done.
Well done watching.
It hasn't actually worked out how YouTube works after all this time.
Well, no, I know how YouTube works. This is a podcast.
You're quite right. I
So
haven't worked it out.
You've not figured out
And
how
all
words
of this is
work
going to be
after all
gone.
this time.
All of this is going to be cut out.
Right, see you in a bit.
See ya.
Hello, we are back, and if you're watching on YouTube, you will be able to identify the people that are sat here by how the rounds went. I'm joined by David and Sam now.
Hello.
How are you
Hello.
guys? Are you doing all right?
We're good.
How are your feet? How are your bodies? How are you?
We're tired.
My spine is compressed. I've been on my feet so long.
It was a long day, wasn't it? It was a
Yeah.
long day.
Longest day in golf, some say.
36 holes. It was. It wasn't quite to be today. We're going to have a little quick recap over the sort of the 36 holes that played out at Dundonald today, as you're listening to it yesterday. Round one. Well, let's just overcap the whole kind of thing. So 275s today, 6 over. Lee Westwood won with a 7 under score. Is that right?
7 under, yeah.
I think 4 under was going to get you in a playoff, which was kind of where we sort of expected it to be. I think that was the same as last year, but just wasn't to be today. And I would say, from my perspective, putting. That was that was the thing that let him down today. But first round, 75, started off as you would expect, a little bit nervy, a little bit tetchy. I felt he looked quite tense, sort of across the shoulders, sort of didn't really. And I kind of said it to Kieran as we were walking around. He got off to a great start and he was sort of parring his way in. But we always joke about how, making a birdie or a par on the first hole isn't necessarily the best thing to do. Having a bogey on the first, you're going to score your best score. And it did kind of feel like he needed that, and we got that with his 5th hole of the day, which was the 15th, where he made a double on the par 3. But it seemed to kind of ease him up a little bit. Do you kind of get that vibe?
Yeah, I think maybe for the first few holes, I wasn't sure if maybe I don't want to say the occasion got to him, but it was just such a different feel to it than Coldy was. Like even just small things like having the rope line there and caddies with bibs and like an announcer on the first tee, everything was just kind of that little bit more intense, and some of the pin positions as well.
Oh yeah,
especially starting off on the back 9, some of them were very, very gruesome.
Yeah.
So just trying to find some sort of foundation within the round. If you don't start fast and if you don't start steady at the very least, you're going to have a pretty tough time, and I think that's what happened.
He'd also been here since Saturday and played about 1,000 holes of golf before he started.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, professional golfers, I'm sure, play a lot of golf and a lot of holes, and Pete was basically trying to pretend to be one of those today. I think one of no disrespect to the people that he played at Coldy, but just as you mentioned, the extra kind of things that came with it. But he was teeing it up with 2 guys that have won on the DP World Tour.
Yeah, Mark Warren, who's won 4 times on the European Tour, and Jack Senior, who recently, within the last 2 weeks, came 4th at the KLM.
Two guys that are clearly very established golfers and very good golfers at that. I mean, we've also just watched them for 36 holes. And Jack, unfortunately, was in a great position, even leading, I think, going into the last 9 holes, and then didn't quite have the back 9 that he needed to get through. One thing I will say, though, off the back of that is, at no point did I ever feel Pete looked out of place.
No.
No, not at all.
Off the tee, I mean, he was the longest off the tee. We know he hits it far anyway, but off the tee, I thought he looked the strongest. He looked the best. He used both driver and mini driver really well. Approach play was, as you would expect, a little bit dicey here and there, let him down on a couple of holes. It was just that putting, as I said, that just couldn't... He came up to me after about 11, 12 holes, I think, and he just said, it's not even like I'm hitting bad putts. I just can't see it. I just can't see the break. I can't see the read. And we even spoke to a few guys at lunch and in between the 2 rounds, and they kind of said the same thing. It was just really hard to kind of gauge what the putts were going to do, and if you don't know what it's going to do, it's hard to hole it, which was a shame. Coldy, that was his strength. That was the thing that kind of kept him going. Those 8-footers for par that just keep the round together just didn't fall today.
Yeah, that was the difference. He was so hot with the putter at Coldy, and he was draining everything.
Can you remember what the strokes gain was? It was pretty Three, four, maybe.
Yeah, three-ish. Yeah.
So,
and he was like 20. He was 26 putts at Goldie, and he was 35 on the first round today, and 33 on the second. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that's the difference. And the annoying thing for Pete is that's probably the one thing that he's been practicing the most in the lead up to this. Obviously, he's had his aim point lesson. Excuse me, with Jamie Donaldson. He had his putting lesson with Phil Kenyon. And then even like as Sam said, he's been up here for a few days and he's been really working and grinding on his putting. And just sometimes I think, as many golfers will relate, it can be one of those streaky things that on a day it's good, on a day it's not. Go on.
I was just going to say, it's so mental as well, because you see it a lot on, like say on like the PGA Tour as well. Like say a player is trying to think their way out of a funk with the putter, and like what seems to work is like trying to return to some sort of freedom with it. And I think a lot of that is just trying to unburden this sort of pressure that they're putting on themselves. And I know that we've just said there that Pete spent a lot of time putting, and theoretically that would make you better, but it does sound like he's thinking his way through his stroke quite a lot.
Yeah.
And just time after time today, I couldn't work out with his lag puts if they're going to go long, if they're going to go short. Just seemed to have like a massive mix of everything. He was trying to find something out there.
Yeah.
Which, considering he spent so much time in the lead up to it, was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and I suppose we're also talking about, you know, a part of his game that he has heavily focused on recently, but he's had a lot of change quickly quite recently. So it's definitely something that he is still personally just embedding into creating a routine, creating a putting stroke that feels comfortable. It definitely seemed that when he was going through the process of putting, it was a very conscious process that he was going through of making sure he did this. Whereas with other kind of parts of his game, maybe more so with the driving, it did seem that there was something that was subconsciously built in there that he'd been doing for a while. And maybe the putting just needed that little bit more of practice, a little bit more of repetition. Even in this environment, not necessarily on a putting green, you know, doing it there compared to actually in a competitive environment is obviously two very different things. One thing I will say, which I'm not surprised by, because obviously we have amazing support both in the comments and subscribers that watch both here and on the main channel. I feel like we had a bigger crowd than Lee Westwood today, which is quite something and sort of represents the state of golf at the minute.
Yeah, there was a point, and I'm not quite sure when like Lee teed off compared to us, but it was basically around the sort of same time, but opposing nines. And the way that Dundonald works is that like the 9th and the 18th kind of loop back to the same point. So when we were actually teeing off on what would be the first hole from the first round, they were coming in on 18, and I had to just stop myself from posting a quick like comparison of the two, because I didn't want it to seem like we're bragging or anything like that, because that's not what it is. But again, just I was blown away by the number of people that like said that they've come all the way from, you know, the outer reaches of Scotland, England, like America, like so many places today.
Yeah.
Like
I think potentially the biggest crowd we've seen at any of the things that we've done, even Head Pro, when we invite people down, like it was incredible.
Definitely, no, 100%. And I think like Pete speaks about it often to us guys, but you know, he will say thank you and he appreciates the support, and I know that he loves that. But it's even nice from our perspective of how many of you guys come up and say how much you enjoy the content and how, you know, how good a job you think we're doing. And it's a community in a sense, you know. There's obviously like this process has been something that Pete's been going through personally, but we document all of this because we want everyone to feel a part of it. You know, trust the process has been a big thing of this year, and a lot of people have been saying it out on the course and stuff, which has been such a surreal but also really cool experience to have, and people have really bought into it this year. And that excitement that's grown obviously from winning at regional to putting in what I would say is a very, very commendable performance here at final. It's a hard one, because obviously he's finished 8 shots off what would have got through into a playoff, but he weirdly could have been there.
Yeah, that's not representative, because like the final 9 was a bit like because it was already pretty much gone, and we were sort of struggling a little bit to keep track of it. And then there was moments like he finished the first round with 2 bogeys that really could have and shouldn't have been bogeys. So it would have been going in 1 over, which was at that time was only like 2 or 3 shots off the line. And then the few putts go in. Yes,
It's a different day.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, going back to the playing partners, and again, like, huge shout out to Jack and Mark, who were awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
All the way through the day. Like, they could have been, shutters up, because obviously they're from a different world from Pete. But like, the guys had a great time out there, and like, obviously understood what we were trying to do. And I think like Mark's son, who was caddying for him today, I think it was, like, got a real buzz from like being in the same group as Pete, and like, it was just a really, really nice, wholesome group. What I was going to say is that over the course of a few holes, or even like a full round of golf, I don't really feel like I could have told much of a difference between like Pete and those guys. It takes a full 36 holes for like those small like differences to kind of come through.
Yeah.
Like, Pete's struggles with the flat stick today, and I don't think his approach was quite there either. So the kind of putting that together over an 18-hole performance, I think you could have squinted and said, these guys are kind of neck and neck, basically.
You would not have been shocked to say, oh, it's a group of 3 DP World Tour players.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to blow up up Pete's arse at all, but like, that was true. Like, that's just the way it was. Like, he looked like he deserved to be there. And in the past of the 5 and a bit years that I've now been working with Pete, that hasn't always been the case. So it's just, that's, even within itself, that's just so nice to see. And I feel like now he's had that taste of final qualifying. The person that he is, he'll want to come straight back and want to go one better again. And that's going to be a conversation that we're going to have to sit down and decide how we want to approach next year. I'm sure Pete will be keen to return, and the quest will be open to return. But we shall see. Watch this space, because I'm not going to say yes or no yet, because that is not my decision.
No, I think like even if the quest were to stop here, in terms of Pete's golf going forward, it feels like this is like, I mean, how long have we been working for Pete? Like 5 or 6 years, something
just
like
over
that?
5 years.
Yeah, so
5.5.
So we've seen lots of different iterations of Pete's game and what he's trying to do and different approaches. This feels so different,
for sure,
to anything I've ever seen. This is by far the best golf he's played, and the foundation is there for him to build on next time. Like, I really think that this is not him, like blowing up his ceiling, but like bringing his floor up, and I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to do next year.
Yeah. Not only golf, but mentality. Like, the getting through regional was a lot to do with him, like, seizing the moment and not losing his head in moments, or not letting his brain get to him, which he used to do a lot, and he's harnessed it to a huge degree, which changes everything, really.
100%. And it probably sounds right now that we're mourning a bad performance, or he shot 75 like round this course, which had some like really brutal pins. They had to set it up that way. Obviously the weather was quite nice, but that's really, really tough pins today. And to go out there and shoot 75 like consecutively is incredible.
Yeah, in this environment,
against these people, middle of the pack.
Yeah,
against some
he's
exceptional players.
He's essentially played in a low-level DP World Tour / Challenge Tour event today, Corn Ferry Tour. The level of the standard was great, and he can always take to his grave that he beat Adrian Moronk in a golf tournament. Because Adrian Moronk didn't fancy it for the second round and retired, and Pete did, so he won.
Plus, he was beating him at halfway.
Yeah, exactly.
Already.
so he can have that. And he beat, did he beat Jamie Donaldson? I don't know, he was somewhere about the same. So he beat a Ryder Cup player and a Live player, all in one day.
All in one day. I just wanted to put one more, like, I know we're going to wrap up in just a second, but one more shout out to everyone who came out to support us today.
Absolutely.
Like, I know we've kind of like alluded to it already, but the number of conversations that we've had of people saying they love what
like what we're doing behind the scenes, but what Pete's done and inspired them to get back into golf. Like the number of like young families I saw out there today.
Yeah.
Like the number of like fathers and sons saying like oh wow, like look at that shot. Like it genuinely, like it's not like 365 days a year. It's not necessarily what we're doing this for every single day. But every time something like that happens, every time we see the effect that it has on people, it's so motivating for what we're doing. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming out, supporting us. It makes a world of difference.
Yeah. And even when you think, like, if you leave your comments on videos and maybe Pete doesn't respond or like it or whatever, like, we see it. Like, we see everything. There's been, as David said, so many people that came out to watch and came up to us, came up to Pete. There was a guy who came up to him at the end, and you just kind of, like, we get kind of so lost in our world of creating these videos, and we kind of, I guess, you kind of lose the level of like what actually it provides to people, and like, you know, what some people take from these things. And I think especially with the Quest for the Open this year, and after that regional video, a lot of people took not just golfing kind of tips and ideas from, but mental and like personal breakthroughs that you can have in life, not only just on the golf course, but, you know, things that can go wrong, and you got to have that mental capacity to go through it. And that's something that Pete's sort of treaded through this year. Not to make it sound too deep, but it's kind of true. Like, it's taken a lot of fight from a mental side of things, as well as improving his golf game, if anything. So I'm glad that you've all enjoyed Quest for the Open this year. I, for one, hope that it will return next year, and who knows, maybe we'll take it overseas and quest for something else.
Yeah, or one step further next year. And if this year's Quest for the Open has brought you in for the first time, welcome.
Yeah.
There's lots more good stuff coming.
Absolutely. David, have you got any final points that you'd like to leave the people on? Anything you'd like to say apart from what has already been said?
No, I
don't say what's already been said, because we've already said that.
I'm not allowed to rehash stuff again.
No.
No, just thanks so much for watching. If you've got any suggestions for what you want us to do on the podcast, but like instead of the quest as well, just leave it in the comments below. We will be in and amongst it, and we want to really see what resonates with you and what you want us to do next.
Perfect. Sam?
Yep. Follow our socials. That's all.
Follow the socials. Yeah, there we go. Well, thank you for joining me, guys. I know that was slightly brief, but we are very late into the night, and it's been a very long day, and we need a little bit of sleep. The other boys are on a flight or have now landed in Germany by the time you're listening to this. But we will all be back together next week and building up to the Open, which unfortunately Pete won't be there, but I'm still just as excited. Well, he will be there, but just not playing.
With a mic in his hand.
With a mic in his hand, as he would on the podcast. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. As Sam said, make sure you go over to the socials and follow. If you haven't subscribed here, please do. And if you haven't subscribed on the main channel, the full final qualifying video will be out next week. So if you didn't see it, if you didn't see anything what happened, you can watch every single 150 shots next week.
You just told them what happened.
They know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Cheers.